When the Abbasid Caliphate replaced the Umayyads in 750 CE, their rise signaled the beginning of the most extraordinary scientific expansion in medieval history, a transformation so deep and systematic that historians now consider it one of humanity's greatest intellectual revolutions. The Abbasids inherited a vast empire, stretching from the Atlantic coast of North Africa to the mountains of Central Asia. But their most important inheritance was not physical territory, it was their ability to unite multiple civilizations under a single intellectual vision. This empire was home to Persians, Arabs, Syrians, Turks, Berbers, Jews, Christians, Zoroastrians, and countless others, each carrying fragments of ancient knowledge. The secret of the Abbasid scientific rise was their deliberate decision to gather, merge, refine, and expand all these forms of knowledge under state protection. Unlike earlier empires that collected knowledge passively, the Abbasids institutionalized it, turning scientific research into a government-backed enterprise. From the very beginning of their rule, Abbasid elites realized that knowledge was power and that scientific control could strengthen political dominance, administrative efficiency, and social unity. This vision shaped the next 5 centuries. The founding of Baghdad under Caliph al-Mansur was the first major step in this scientific transformation. Built deliberately at the crossroads of trade routes, cultural intersections, and strategic river systems, Baghdad was designed as more than a capital, it was constructed as an intellectual center. The city's circular shape symbolized centralized power, but its planning also reflected openness. Roads connected markets, libraries, courts, observatories, and residential districts, ensuring easy movement of scholars and ideas. Within decades, Baghdad became the world's wealthiest and most cosmopolitan city, attracting mathematicians from Persia, physicians from Syria, astronomers from India, engineers from Egypt, and philosophers from Greece. The Abbasids offered salaries, housing, pensions, and privileges to scholars, enabling them to work without financial pressure. This produced a fertile environment where scientific advancement became continuous and organized. The most transformative institution of the Abbasid era was the Bayt al-Hikma, or House of Wisdom. Although often compared to a library, it functioned as far more than that. It was simultaneously an academy, translation bureau, research institution, observatory, and intellectual hub, an early prototype of the modern university and research center. Under Caliph al-Ma'mun, the House of Wisdom reached unprecedented levels of activity. Scholars were appointed to translate Greek philosophical works, Indian mathematical treatises, Persian astronomical texts, and Syriac medical manuals into Arabic. The translation movement was not merely preservation, it was a comprehensive process of intellectual refinement. Translators did not just copy manuscripts, they added commentary, corrections, revisions, and expansions. For example, Greek mathematics was integrated with Indian numerals, producing new computational techniques that neither civilization had individually developed. Medical theories were compared with Persian and Syriac scientific traditions, resulting in more accurate clinical knowledge. Astronomical methods were merged to create new models that surpassed Greek accuracy. This merging and refining of global knowledge represented the core secret behind Abbasid scientific dominance, their ability to combine multiple civilizations into a unified scientific culture. In mathematics, the Abbasids fundamentally altered the course of world history. Al-Khwarizmi produced work that laid the foundation of algebra, algorithmic thinking, and systematic problem-solving. His book, Al-Jabr wa al-Muqabala, introduced algebra as an independent mathematical discipline instead of a collection of isolated techniques. He also wrote extensively on Indian numerals, promoting their adoption across the Islamic world. This numeral system, including the concept of zero, made computations faster and more efficient, enabling advances in astronomy, engineering, commerce, architecture, and physics. Without this innovation, modern mathematics and computer science would be unimaginable. Al-Khwarizmi's astronomical tables, known as the Zij, were used for centuries and improved as new observations were made. His blending of Indian, Persian, and Greek sources created a unified mathematical tradition that influenced both East and West. Astronomy flourished in the Abbasid era for both scientific and religious reasons.
Accurate astronomical knowledge was essential for determining prayer times, calculating the start of Islamic months, establishing the Qibla direction, and organizing administrative planning. This led rulers like al-Ma'mun to fund large observatories in Baghdad and Damascus. Scholars conducted systematic sky observations, measured the Earth's circumference using trigonometric methods, refined the Ptolemaic model, corrected star positions, and advanced theories of planetary motion. Abbasid astronomers produced star catalogs, developed improved astrolabes, created spherical trigonometry, and introduced mathematical models that later influenced European astronomers, including Copernicus. Their focus on precise measurement and mathematical modeling marked an early shift toward empirical science rather than reliance on inherited Greek theories.
Medicine under the Abbasids reached levels unmatched by any earlier civilization. Hospitals, bimaristans, were built in major cities and operated with sophisticated administrative systems. They included separate wards for different illnesses, isolation wards for infectious diseases, pharmacies, teaching rooms, lecture halls, and libraries. Physicians were required to pass examinations before practicing, a form of early medical licensing. Al-Razi became one of the most influential medical scholars, writing comprehensive manuals covering diseases, treatments, symptoms, pharmacology, and surgical methods. His sharp clinical observations allowed him to differentiate between smallpox and measles, something no previous medical tradition had systematically done. He emphasized evidence-based diagnosis, criticized superstition, and urged physicians to study actual cases before accepting theoretical claims. Ibn Sina's canon of medicine compiled, organized, and expanded all known medical knowledge into a massive encyclopedia that shaped global medicine for centuries. Its rational structure introduced categories for diseases, diagnostic principles, pharmaceutical techniques, and anatomical insights that became standard for both Islamic and European medical schools. Chemistry evolved from early alchemical practices into a more empirical science. Scholars such as Jabir ibn Hayyan introduced laboratory methods that remain fundamental today: distillation, crystallization, evaporation, calcination, and filtration. They experimented with acids, salts, minerals, and metals, discovering new substances and chemical reactions. Although some alchemical goals were mystical, such as the transmutation of metals, Abbasid chemists produced practical knowledge that influenced medicine, metallurgy, industrial production, and pharmacology. Their laboratory equipment, such as alembics and stills, became prototypes for modern chemical apparatus. In physics, the most revolutionary figure was Ibn al-Haytham, whose Book of Optics transformed the understanding of vision, light, and perception. He rejected Greek theories claiming that the eye emits light, and instead demonstrated that vision results from light entering the eye. He conducted precise experiments with lenses, reflections, angles, and geometrical analysis, establishing the principles of modern optics. His methodological approach, designing experiments, recording results, testing hypotheses, represented a shift towards something resembling the modern scientific method. His insights influenced later European scholars such as Kepler, and indirectly contributed to the development of cameras and optical instruments. Engineering in the Abbasid Caliphate combined scientific theory with practical innovation. Water management technologies grew enormously. Engineers built dams, canals, irrigation systems, hydraulic machines, and water clocks. Inventors such as the Banu Musa brothers wrote detailed works describing mechanical devices, automata, fountains, valves, pumps, and early robotic mechanisms powered by wind, steam, or water pressure. Their Book of Ingenious Devices illustrated engineering principles centuries ahead of their time. Their inventions demonstrated that Abbasid scientific culture valued experimentation just as much as theoretical mathematics. Geography and cartography also advanced significantly. Scholars like al-Idrisi produced highly accurate maps combining information from sailors, merchants, travelers, and earlier geographical works. Abbasid geographers documented climate zones, trade routes, cultural practices, natural resources, and topographical features of distant regions. Their works improved global navigation and shaped later explorations. One of the hidden engines behind the Abbasid scientific expansion was paper technology. After capturing Chinese papermakers in the Battle of Talas, 751 CE,
The Abbasids rapidly adopted and expanded papermaking. Paper was cheaper and easier to produce than parchment or papyrus. Baghdad soon hosted hundreds of paper mills, creating a vast book production industry. This made knowledge accessible to scholars, students, officials, and even merchants. Book markets flourished, and private libraries became common. The abundance of written material accelerated scientific development more than any other technological factor. Language also played a crucial role. Arabic evolved into a scientific language capable of expressing complex philosophical, mathematical, and medical concepts. Scholars developed precise terminology, making it possible to translate and integrate knowledge efficiently. This linguistic standardization created a unified scientific culture across the entire Islamic world, from Spain to India. Scientific debate and intellectual criticism were encouraged in the Abbasid era. Scholars disagreed openly, wrote rebuttals, corrected one another's works, and refined theories through dialogue. The freedom to challenge established authorities, including Greek thinkers like Aristotle, fostered innovation. Al-Razi openly criticized Galen. Ibn Sina challenged Ptolemy. Al-Biruni questioned Indian astronomical models. This culture of rational debate prevented intellectual stagnation.
Economic strength also supported scientific growth. The Abbasid Empire controlled major trade routes across the Middle East, connecting China, India, Africa, and Europe. This flow of wealth funded scientific institutions, observatories, hospitals, and libraries. Trade also introduced new materials, plants, minerals, and technologies that stimulated scientific curiosity and experimentation. The political structure of the Abbasid state, despite internal conflicts, generally supported scientific work. Caliphs like al-Mamun, al-Mansur, and al-Rashid personally patronized scholars, allocated budgets, commissioned translations, and protected intellectual institutions. Even when the empire weakened politically, scientific culture survived through regional courts in Persia, Egypt, and Andalusia. The Abbasid scientific legacy eventually spread far beyond its borders. During the Crusades, European scholars encountered advanced scientific manuscripts, medical practices, and technologies. Later, European translators worked tirelessly in places like Toledo to translate Arabic works into Latin. These translations introduced Europe to algebra, optics, medicine, engineering, chemistry, and philosophical logic. The intellectual awakening known as the Renaissance was deeply influenced by this transfer of knowledge. The Abbasid influence also shaped later Islamic civilizations, including the Seljuks, Ottomans, Mughals, and Safavids. Their scientific institutions were modeled after Abbasid prototypes. Their educational systems inherited Abbasid curricula. Their hospitals, observatories, and libraries continued Abbasid traditions of research and documentation. The long-term impact of Abbasid scientific culture is visible everywhere in the modern world. Algebra underlies computer science, engineering, physics, and economics. Hospitals follow organizational principles developed in Abbasid Baghdad. Chemical laboratories still use Jabir's methods. Optical science owes foundational concepts to Ibn al-Haytham. Navigation and astronomy still rely on methods refined by Abbasid scholars. The modern scientific method itself reflects the empirical, experimental, rational approach pioneered by Abbasid thinkers. The Abbasid scientific success rested on several key factors: state sponsorship, cultural openness, multilingual scholarship, cross-civilizational integration, economic prosperity, linguistic precision, experimental methods, institutional structure, and intellectual freedom. Their empire demonstrated that scientific advancement is greatest when knowledge is valued as a collective human achievement rather than a cultural possession.
The Abbasid Caliphate did not merely preserve ancient knowledge, it reshaped it into a new global scientific tradition.
This scientific golden age eventually declined due to political fragmentation, invasions, economic strain, and the collapse of centralized authority. Yet the intellectual structures, translations, discoveries, and methodologies survived long after the empire's fall. Their works traveled across continents, enriching future civilizations. The Abbasid scientific revolution represents one of humanity's brightest intellectual eras, a time when scholars from every faith, ethnicity, and region worked together under a shared commitment to knowledge. This unity transformed medieval science, shaped the modern world, and left a legacy that continues to influence fields ranging from medicine to physics to mathematics. The secret science of the Abbasid Caliphate was not hidden magic or mystery. It was the extraordinary ability to merge curiosity, diversity, scholarship, and state support into a single, powerful engine of human progress.